What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of You Are Not Normal with TONYMONT. I got my good friend Sharktino in the office today. Thanks for coming to visit, my friend, Mr. Tino Hernandez. And visiting today, we want to talk about some sales tactics in the wholesaling space. But you have a lot more going on than that. But we want to give a little bit of value today.
Of course.
I'm fresh out here in AZ. You're in AZ every time I see you and chat with you, and your brother for that matter, dude. It's always a good time. You guys are super down to earth and always welcoming, encouraging, dude. Even when I met you 3 years ago, when I nobody knew who we were, and we were going to these events, you would always come up and just be like, "You guys are gonna kill it. You guys are killing it." Like always supportive through the climb up the mountain. So I've always appreciated that. Dude.
And I want to say thank you first and foremost for having me out here. I truly appreciate it. I get invites, and it's not to sound cocky or anything. I get invites to podcasts all the time. And I just I'm like, oh, I'm out of town or I'm busy, even though I know I don't like to fly. So if I tell you I'm out of town, it's probably a lie.
Yeah.
but I respect you a lot.
Thank you.
And I jumped at the opportunity to come here and be on this podcast. You guys are fucking amazing. You're an incredible human being, from your story, from who you are as a person, on and off the camera. You're the same fucking guy, which is something that I resonate with. And me and my brother were just talking about you yesterday. I'm like, yo, I'm going to be on Tony's podcast and shit. And he's like, oh, that's dope. Da-da-da-da. Tell him I said what up. Give him a big ass hug for me. I'm like, you know what? Like, the reason why I like Tony is he's just a bro. Like, that's my perception. He's just a bro. Like, he's a cool ass dude. He likes cool shit. He doesn't care, what people think about him. He does his thing, gets his money, stays out the way, helps people along the way, and the rest is history. So thank you first and foremost for having me.
Of course,
I truly appreciate it, and I can't wait to get into the weeds with this.
Hell yeah, man. Well, thanks for those kind words. I get so uncomfortable when people give me compliments.
I know, you're like, oh, what?
I'm all sweating over here. Like, stop saying good things. Stop saying good things about me. But I do appreciate it, dude. That's very sincere, so I appreciate it. Well, first of all, dude, you told me this like maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago, where you were like, dude, I got such bad anxiety about flying.
Yeah.
And you like hate flying. Like, was it always like that? Or?
Dude, it's crazy. So when I was in the Army, I didn't have a problem flying. Because when that light turned green, the door opens, you just got to jump. You got to right? Go. Like, jump master's going to...
No decision.
Yeah, either that or you're going to get your ass kicked out the door.
Yeah.
So, I didn't have time to really think about it. And it's weird. When I got out of the military... I was deployed to war 2007, 8, 9, 10, and 11. Iraq, Afghanistan, all the stands, all that stuff. And never was scared of flying. Like, I was just happy to be alive, and focusing on the mission. And now when I get on a flight, dude, I have to literally stop by the lobby bar, fucking 2 double Jack and Cokes with grenadine, fucking short, just so I can pound them.
Yeah.
It's like straight rubbing alcohol. I'll get one of those, and then I'll order one for my wife so that they allow me to have that many shots at one time. And then I drink it. She doesn't drink it. And then by the time I get on the plane, that's right before we board, I feel a little toasty, and I'm good to go.
And you're good. It just takes the edge off.
Yeah, but I'm just terrified. I'm a control freak.
Yeah.
And most entrepreneurs are, but I'm just like, when it comes to flying, like I don't do roller coasters either.
Yeah.
Don't do roller coasters either. When I don't like other people driving spiritedly.
I hate it.
With me in the passenger seat. Like, it freaks me out.
Me too.
Now, I love supercars. For those of you who know me, I love to drive fast. I like to fucking throw that ass out. But me sitting in the passenger seat, like, I truly have to trust you to let you have a good time.
No, I resonate with that on almost everything except flying, because it's like I can't fly a plane, so I have to just give up and leave the control.
I'm willing to learn, man.
Yeah. Dude, my old business partner, same thing, dude. He hated flying. He was scared to death of it, and he ended up getting his pilot's license and buying a plane. Yeah. And now he flies a Cessna around.
It's a control thing. That's what it is, man. I recently got married in May. And
congratulations.
Thank you. My family's from Guadalajara in Mexico, and I'm first generation born out here. So just to kind of like commemorate my family, we had a destination wedding out there, and I had to go last year in October to go do like the food tasting and check this out, check that out, and I was terrified But I'm like, oh my God, at least I have, that was in October. I have until May until I have to fly again. And then I keep getting invited to speak at these events, and they're all like on the fucking East Coast. It's like, dude, come on,
Well,
bro.
yeah, you're in the wrong business for not liking flying.
Right.
Dude, like especially when I first started, well, still to this day, but especially when I first started going to an event, and I would see you on stage, and the way you like, you're just so calm and cool up there.
Thank
and like
you.
resonate with the crowd. Like, you're such a good speaker, dude.
I appreciate that.
When it comes to like information, bringing people, like when you're an MC and bringing people up, but also just like the energy and getting a crowd pumped. It's like when before I started public speaking, like I would see people like yourself and I'd be like, holy shit, like how could I ever get like that? And it's like years later, I'm fine.
You're doing it.
Yeah, it's funny. It's just like repetition now,
Right.
But dude, in like still to this day, like you're one of the best speakers I see out there.
I truly appreciate that. I started with All In a long time in 2019 and did 33 deals in my first 5 weeks of being an acquisition manager.
Hell yeah.
And shortly after that, found out my ex-wife was cheating on me on a Friday. On Monday, filed for divorce.
Damn.
Yeah, so I took a month and a half off. And came back and I said, hey, guys, I told Carlos and Sal, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I might move to South America with my kids. At that point, I was a liquid millionaire due to some investments that I made in 2014 that came to fruition in 2017. So I had a nice little piggy bank. So I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'll figure it out. You know, worst case scenario, I step on my dick and I move back and get a job at a car dealership popsicle stand. I was able to make 30, 40K a month before. So I think we can do it again, right? Yeah. And then when I came back, they're like, hey, we're going to start doing events. We want to do education. And that's when I was like, all right, well, this is fun. We started making, mainly Alex was the mastermind behind it, and I would help him out with it. We would come up with these like packages and stuff, and the crazy thing was that it took off so fast, and we were able to impact so many people. I mean, that's how I met you guys, right? So it's really crazy, like the amount of practice I got over the years of speaking, and then, learning from people like Cole Hatter, going to his classes and learning from him on sales tactics from stage and how to work a room, and not only just selling, but actually like captivating the audience and getting their attention and keeping them engaged.
Right.
That's the hardest thing to do, right? Like most people will go up there if they're new to it and they'll just have a fucking slideshow.
And they're all monotone,
Right.
and it goes over the same
Right.
stuff, and they don't look at the crowd. They look down, they look at their slideshow. They never look anybody in the eyes.
Exactly.
Like, dude, I take all the negative stuff from somebody on stage and just say, I gotta not do
You're
that.
like, that's what I'm not gonna do.
I'm like, all right, I don't engage with this person because of this, that, and the other. So when I'm up there, I'm going to stare at people in the eye. I'm going to shout people out. I'm going to make jokes every couple minutes to keep people, in a light mood. Like, that's my thing when I'm on stage, dude.
Yeah,
like,
I put people on the spot too. I'll ask them
all
a
the
question.
time.
And you know what? What that does is, like, Eric was at I was at an event in Texas, and Eric was sitting front row. And I said, every successful salesperson has a sales process. I'm like, right or wrong, Eric? Like, and right away he was like, that's fucking right. I'm like, yeah, all right, he's paying attention. So, you do the same thing, just keeping everyone engaged. And you'll see the pros, like they'll have like a slide, but it'll just have like 3 bullet points. And then they'll talk on that slide for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
But they already know, okay, this is what I'm trying to, this is the end goal of this segment. This is the meat and potatoes, and this is how I'm going to tie it all in together.
And it's just second nature. And people that don't public speak or speak it on stages, like they always say, I can't believe, like, you look so calm up there. It's like, well, if you told me to go up there and talk about astrophysics, I'd be a nervous wreck. Right. We're talking about shit we do on a daily basis. Right. How hard is that?
Exactly. That's what people don't understand. It's like I'm not going to lie. I'm an introvert, believe it or not. Yeah. I don't like talking to people. I wear sunglasses because I have vitiligo around my eyes, but mainly because I don't want to make eye contact with you because I don't want to fucking talk to them. Yeah. It's as bad as that sounds. Yeah. But on stage, it's beautiful. I can just go out there and pour my heart out and tell a story and tie it back into something that every single person in that audience is going through, and it'll just click, and they'll have that aha moment that, oh shit, I can do it too. Yeah. I can do it too.
Yeah. And I don't know about you, but like when I'm about to speak, I don't care if it's in front of 20 people.
You get anxious?
Dude, I don't care if it's 20 people or 500 people. Right before I go up, dude, that's when the demons start saying, "Oh, you're a fucking idiot.
You're gonna fuck it up.
You're gonna fuck it up. Nobody here cares," and all this negativity starts creeping in my head, and that creates this anxiety. But the moment I step on stage, I'm
gone.
Dude, I'm like so calm up there. I could take a nap on stage. Like I am so calm up there.
Do you know how many times I've been on stage? I've been on stage so many fucking times. I've spoken to people in rooms of 25 people, rooms with 1,500 people, and I still get nervous to say I'm nervous. I was nervous walking in here.
Yeah.
You never know what to expect. I'm not gonna lie. Like
yeah.
I told my wife this morning, I'm like, I'm actually nervous to be on this podcast. She's like, why? You're on these podcasts all the time.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know, but I think.
Well, you set yourself to a high standard, right, I think, and you want to push.
You care.
You want to give back.
You want to deliver. You want to do good. You want people to enjoy what you put out.
Sure.
I don't post a lot of content.
Yeah.
I'm guilty for that. I don't post a lot of content. It's because I'm very picky at what I post because I want it to have a meaning behind it. I want it to hit real hard. And if I'm posting 4 times a day, it just gets washed out. But if I post 1 time a week or maybe once every other week, people are like, "Oh shit, Tino posted. What does that have?"
Yeah, Tino's got something to say.
What's he got? Yeah, what's he going? What's coming from this?
Yeah.
So the same thing. I get nervous every single time I'm about to get in here. That's why I'm like, give me a Red Bull. I'm like starting to get anxious. I'm like, oh, there's the camera. There's people out there watching.
Yeah.
But first and foremost, obviously you do this to give value, to give back, which you don't have to do this. So, out there, give them a round of applause for being selfless because there's so many people out here, and I'm guilty to a certain extent that will just like be successful, make money, do that,
quiet,
and just just live their own life. I try to do pop-ups to give back and stuff like that, but something like this is really good, and I'm going to be starting one as well.
Yeah,
and you're my first guy.
Hell yeah, we're going to film it in here, and we're going to force Tino to film his first podcast.
Let's do it.
But thanks, dude. Yeah, there's a couple things in there too, like talking about the transition when you moved. And we're going to get into sales tactics and wholesaling, but this is just interesting to me where when you said, fuck it, I'm getting a divorce, I'm moving to South America, and then you said, I could always come back, make 30-40 grand a month, right? Like once you have a skill set and once you prove to yourself you're a good salesperson,
it'll never go away.
It'll never go away. You can literally pick any product on the planet. Like, we do wholesaling, we coach wholesaling. But give me, I made millions of dollars in the bicycle industry, jumped into wholesaling, made millions of dollars. Just give me a product that's sellable and let me market it and sell it. Like, that's it.
That's all it is. People don't understand. It's like every business, it doesn't matter what business it is, whether it's a product, a service, a SaaS, it's like there's a yin and a yang to every business. It's sales and marketing. Without marketing, you won't have leads to sell. And without sales, you won't be able to pay for marketing. So it's mind-blowing to me that people run away from the hard stuff, but that's not really that hard. It's just simple. When I get these people, the mentees that will come to me and they're like, I'm trying to scale, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm spending this much. I'm like, oh yeah, what's your ROI? Oh, I'm not tracking my KPIs. Then once we get into the weeds of it, we figure out, okay, yeah, they're doing like 6 to 8x. Like, that's great. Okay, so like, let's just fucking
pour fuel on the fire,
water the lawn. You know what I'm saying? Like, add more fuel. Like, that every time you fucking send $1 out there, 6 to 10 of those motherfuckers are gonna come back.
Yeah.
Why don't you just throw more dollars out there,
dude? It's crazy you say that because I was on a call this morning with a guy who he paid me to go over some marketing with him because I had called him or he had reached out to me a week ago and he's like, I need help with dispo. And I was like, all right, well, before we get there, like, what are you doing for marketing? What do your numbers look like? What's your return? He goes, I have no idea. And I was like, then we don't know if you have a dispo problem because like you don't have your numbers. So it happens both ways. Like sometimes you look at people's numbers, you're like, holy shit, you're at 8X and you're like, let's just grow from here. And some people think they have another problem in their business, but it's really, hey, like, we're not making a return because maybe your marketing shit or maybe your sales process is shit.
There's always a weak link in that chain.
Before you get to fulfillment, right? It's like, okay, we don't want to start here and work our way back. Let's start at the marketing and then the sales.
It's like when you go see a doctor, right? Like they like fucking check you out and everything and they check your vitals and then Then once they figure out what's wrong, then they write you a prescription. But a lot of people just want a prescription, and then they don't know if they actually need it.
Right.
And that's
I can't pay attention. Give me some Adderall.
Right.
It's like
for sure.
I'm too tired. Give me Adderall. I can't sleep. Give me Adderall. Like whatever. Just give me Adderall. Yeah. Another thing you said earlier too. You were talking about like social media.
Yeah.
And like once you have like when you were working with Carlos and Sal, and like overnight once you started doing events, like a bunch of people started coming, right? With the All In group and Alex too. Absolutely. And it's like those guys had a following. Yeah. You know? And it's like
it grew so fast too.
They hit it the right time.
It was incredible.
And the right community in the right area. Everything was perfect.
Yep. They were like the people's fucking heroes.
The people's
like
champs.
like every fucking little brown boy, every black kid, every fucking white kid from the trailer park.
Yeah.
Like, everyone's like, damn, these guys can do it. You know, I'm those guys.
Yeah.
So it was pretty magical. It's like,
but dude, it's like it's because of the brand and the social media.
Branding is so important. People don't understand it. I'm wearing my shirt like with my name on it.
You're
wearing your shirt, with your name on it. Like people don't understand that. Like when you have a brand and you have a platform, you can reach out to so many people at one time without having to pay. I had a pop-up recently, 240 people showed up on a 2 weeks notice, and people flew in from all across the country. Eric Klein actually spoke at it, and I didn't run any ads. Like this just from my social media.
It's awesome.
That's it. And the closest person to me, I think had like 3,000 followers. That reposted it. So it's just like I have a big following here in Phoenix. 68% of my following is in here. Is here in Phoenix.
Hell yeah.
So I love Phoenix. Yeah. Thank you, Phoenix. I love you. But it's just so important. Branding the right way is important.
Right.
Branding the right way. Finding out who you are as a person and branding yourself is important. Just like we were speaking before the camera turned on, like a lot of people are like, oh yeah, Tino, he's a wholesaler. Like, I'm not a wholesaler. I'm not. I'm an entrepreneur. I own multiple businesses that aren't even in the same industry. And I just happen to have a wholesale operation. Yeah. So that's the common misconception with branding is a lot of people just like tie into one thing. It's good when you're getting started, but as you grow, then your audience starts to like cross-pollinate. Yeah. Because now I have a franchise, Jack's Wax. We're a nationwide franchise. I own one of those. And I have a car community now that follows me. Yeah. Right? We do these events. So there's like 4,000 to 7,000 people per day that come to these events. They're crazy. Like these real estate events are not that big.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like you get out to the car world and stuff, dude, it's insane.
Huge. A parking Lambo there, Barry Jackson. Like those worlds are like completely different animals. And I got that community. I got the car dealership community with another business I have. I have the Infinity, the brain nootropic community that's like more of a fitness and wellness community. So I got all those different communities, like, and some of them like cross-pollinate, like, hey, I want to learn real estate. Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, let's hop on a 15-minute success call and see if we're a good fit. Yep. And then these people are like, oh, how did you get started in Jack's Wax? Oh, well, there's a couple different ways you can franchise, There's so many different avenues, but it's all tied into branding. Yeah. And that's one thing like you guys have done really well.
Thanks.
Really well, fast.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny, like in brand, social media kind of goes in waves. Like, my Instagram, shot up. And once I got to like 10, 11, 12,000 followers, it kind of started flatlining. Now I'm like, all right, well, let me put more YouTube content out there. And I started doing YouTube videos again 2 weeks ago and gained 350 subscribers in 2 weeks. And it's like, all right, I'm going to concentrate on that now. Yeah. You know what I mean?
YouTube's good too. It's evergreen content. That's the way to look at it. It's like somewhere, like I've watched podcasts that are like 5-6 years old.
Right.
And like
all
to
the time.
This day.
Yeah.
Like I'll just let it run. And you constantly will find something from there that's like, oh man, that's a nugget. And you execute it and you see an ROI on it, but then you end up following that person or looking at, I wonder if they have an Instagram or I wonder if they have this. And it just,
yeah, Instagram's not the end all be all.
It's not the end all be all. Like, it's just where I happen to have most of my audience.
Sure.
Actually, all my audience.
All your audience.
I shouldn't have it like that. But
like YouTube, it's like when I start thinking about just me personally, it's like I don't doom scroll on Instagram. Like, I don't really comment on anybody's stuff. I don't watch a ton of reels, but like every night when I've got something I want to research or look up, it's YouTube all
YouTube.
night. I'm on YouTube way more than Instagram.
Yeah.
Because you're like searching for something valuable and you have a longer attention span because you're sitting there watching something long form
I'm on Instagram
where you can actually learn.
When I'm on the shitter.
I'll
admit that.
Instagram's
I do comment
for taking a dump. Yeah.
I do comment a lot on a bunch of different things. And I comment because it's crazy. I have my Instagram handle is 3 letters. It's FTH.
Yeah, I love
it's for Faustino Tino Hernandez. It's actually for fuck the haters.
Yeah.
That's what it stands for.
Of course.
But whenever I comment on something, it could be about candles, like a candle reel. I can comment on and be like, oh, that smells really good. I bet Yankee Candle can't touch this shit, and I'll tag Yankee Candle. And then guess what? Like, I'll get some followers from it just because of my handle. They'll be like, oh, damn,
who's this?
Yeah, how did he get that name? They click on it, they're like, oh, cool. He's got a lot of cars. He's got this. He does this. Oh, I wonder what else he does. And then they'll just go through and they'll fucking follow me. And then before you know it, they're downloading my free sales script and wholesale course and this and that, and so it just builds a whole thing. So I try to like comment on, I'll say like 15 reels a day. But I shit post a lot. I shit post a lot. You should.
I've had 2 conversations. I'll tell 2 quick stories, but I had 2 conversations recently. One was my girlfriend who she's a hairdresser here, and she has a hair page on Instagram, and she has her personal page on Instagram, and she's always trying to post all this hair stuff, and it's just not growing the followers. She's not getting clients from that page, but her personal page, she's like this badass hot chick with a nice butt and a thong, wake surfing.
Can't be mad at that.
Yeah. So it's like, all right, well, you're getting a ton of followers and engagement there. What if you told that whole community that you do hair? You're going to get, clients from that. And I had a call this morning with somebody I was helping that he's like, how do I grow my brand? I'm like, well, he's like, I got 3 Instagram handles. One's my real estate thing. One's another one for the family. One's for this truck. I used to buy and sell old trucks, but I haven't been on that one in forever. And I look at all 3 of them and I'm like, well, the truck one's got 9,000 followers. And I'm like, you haven't even touched it in years? He's like, no. And I'm like, what if you told all these people in the trucking, this like vintage truck, that you do real estate?
Right.
He's like, oh yeah, I never even thought about that. I'm like, you got to combine all this shit.
Yeah.
Like a brand is like, who you are, but then you tell people what you do and they're interested.
Yeah, what you can do for them as well. So like for me, like one of our companies, it's called Seeing Colors. It's a media company. We have, camera guys. We do social media stuff. We handle like posting schedules and content creation for people as well. One of the things that I've learned that works best is branding yourself. Like on my page, I have like all the different companies that I'm part owner of, and they have their own respective Instagram things, but those aren't gonna like grow or like huge organically. What's gonna grow is your personal page. People buy from people they like ultimately. So if I post like, hey, if I had just a wholesaling page, right, and I'm like, here's my course, name your price, you can buy whatever you want. No one's going to fucking buy from it.
No.
But if I post it on my personal page, you can pay $1, you can pay $1,000. Well, in one weekend, we did 32 grand from posting it on my personal page.
Yeah, of course.
Because it is something that I do. It's an extension of me, but I think people should brand themselves and from there say, hey, I do this, I do that, I do this, I do that.
Well,
so it's
yeah,
good.
yeah, 100%.
People want to separate it, which is good.
Right.
You should, but you should also cross-pollinate. It goes back to
because the leader is you. You're the brand, and they're going to buy from you. Like, look at all the top Instagram pages. They're all celebrities and influencers. Like, there's a reason that businesses aren't the top Instagram pages. Like, people are drawn to people.
People, lifestyle posts.
Yeah.
That's what people really care about. And then they figure out, okay, well, this guy lives a really cool lifestyle. What does he do to afford that?
Right.
How does he live that lifestyle?
Right.
And that's how kind of just snowballs. But yeah, branding is huge. Huge. It's so underrated. Like, people just don't talk about it enough. Or they think, one thing I was telling you earlier is like, less is more to me. Like, I'm a minimalist. Like, I like your shirt. It's not too like Eric Klein shirt. I like his shirt. but his logo is like fucking huge.
The GOAT.
Yeah. No, the EC.
Oh, the EC, yeah.
I like the EC, but it's fucking huge. It's like a Superman thing,
Yeah.
right? Like, I like a small like EC right here,
Yeah,
with like hard, with the outline of square chest, like something like that's cool. But, to each his own. I think that when you post a lot and you're not getting engaged, like I feel like your engagement starts to fall off. A lot of people say, oh yeah, you got to post a lot more to get more eyes on you, which is true. Like 2 to 3 times per week is like 3 times per week is like the standard. 3 to 4, I think, is what they say right now. That's what's going hot. But I think like for me, what's worked is when I post once every 2 weeks or just here in a blue moon, it's good. Now my stories, like just from my story posts, I'll get like 1.1 million impressions in a month. They've gone down to about 400,000, 300,000 a month. And I think it's because I'm not posting as much.
Yeah.
But my stories, for some reason, I get a lot of story views.
Yeah.
And, I'm constantly tagging Phoenix. Like, I put my location, and I'm like, most of my followers are in Phoenix. So
yeah. And nobody's ever going to figure out the algorithm.
It's never.
It changes all the time.
Yep.
What works today might not work tomorrow. What worked 6 months ago isn't working today.
Absolutely.
You got to just navigate it. And nobody knows either.
And I will say this. Like, I talk about this all the time. Like, it's funny because people that are like famous, right, that have, or not famous, but have like Instagram, internet clout, quote unquote, they want to figure out how to make money. And the people that have money want to figure out how to get Instagram clout. Yeah. And it's always the same thing. It's like, but what a dangerous combination is. I always say this. I'm like, okay, this guy's got it. If he has swag, he has like the charisma, he has like the coolness about him, and he actually provides value, and he makes money. Yeah. That's when you're like, all right, you're gonna get internet clout, you're gonna make money, and
give value.
Yeah, and you give me value.
Yeah.
So like that's what I try to aim to do on my page. I have like right now I have 2 social media people that send me reels all the time, or they'll come film with me, and if I don't like it, I just won't post it. Yeah. Even though I'm paying them for them,
right.
I just won't post it.
Right.
And I got like 60 something reels
just
that are just sitting in a folder, in the bank, ready. So I don't know. We'll see what happens.
All right. So personal branding important. We talked about sales in the beginning here and how important that is. And as you're a salesperson, you get a process down.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you can sell anything. So I want to give some value, and I know you do too, to the audience out there. And I want to, a lot of people, especially, I mean, just any sales, but phone sales especially, because that's what we do. They get phone fear. They don't know what to say. And it's like even somebody like yourself, and a little bit on myself too, I'll wrap myself into this, where it's like, if we are introverts and we feel like we can't be good salespeople because of that, it's like, no, you can be whatever character you want to be as a salesperson. Like, that's what I teach. I'm like, you can be whoever you want. This is your time to come out of your shell. It's not Tino. It's not Tony. You can be whatever you want as a salesperson. And I put on a persona when I'm on a call trying to lock up a property or sell a house. Same thing in my last business when it was belly to belly and I was selling bicycles at the shop. Like, I was just like putting on a different persona. Like, I'm not being fake, but
no, you gotta wear different hats.
I don't want to talk the same way I talk to my buddies at my house as I do to a client coming in. Absolutely. And you can become this other person to this character you create in your head to be a salesperson. Then it's just like, dialing in a process. Like, we always talk about scripts over the phone, and like that script, though, it's like I haven't read one of my scripts in years because it's just like it's the pattern, right? And you just got to put your own personality on it or that character. But we want to talk about like maybe the top 3, characteristics of a good salesperson, or the 3 tactics that, we know in any industry will work, right?
So for me, top 3, I would probably say most importantly is having a sales process. Yeah. Like, you have to have a sales process.
100%.
Now, going to your point as well, is like, you can be anyone you want to be. I always tell salespeople, especially green peas that are getting started, and they like, if they'll fuck up during the call or something, they're like, there's like, fucking R2D2's glitching and shit. I'm like, listen, dude, like, they don't know that you're fucking up the script.
Yeah,
like they don't have it. They're not like, oh, little Timmy's not. He fucked up here.
Dude, that's such a good perspective, dude. Like that is such a good perspective. Like they get so married to the script. Right. Like I see it all the time where they're like, well, they asked another question. I couldn't stick to the script. It's like, that's a beautiful thing. That's like, let that conversation build rapport and go into that direction. It's just your job to pull it back in and get through the process.
So I always say this. It's like walking a dog, right? When you walk a dog, you have a dog, right?
No, not anymore.
No, you don't. Okay, I'm sorry.
God bless him.
I'm sorry.
God bless him. Tanks in heaven.
My bad.
You're good.
So when you walk a dog, though, typically, like, you're trying to walk them in a certain way, and they'll see the tree over here, and it's got the white dog shit, and they want to kind of veer over there like, hey, this is my tree. What the fuck's going on over here? And you want to pull them back, right? So I picture, like, sellers as not dogs. I know it sounds terrible, but, you know, you have a sales script and a sales process, and you're leading them down your sales process. As they try to deviate off of it, and you're like, oh, man, I couldn't stick to the script. It's okay. Just follow them down there, address whatever questions they have or doubts or fears. Overcome the objection. You're uncovering objections as you're going. You're overcoming it, and then you just bring them back to your sales process.
Yeah.
Now it's not that hard, but people just get so hung up on scripts. I have a script. My team has a script. I have a script for the education side. I have a script for the real estate side, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I will say this: that the scripts are not meant to be verbatim. Mm-hmm. They shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Because
you'll sound like a robot.
I don't talk like you. You don't talk like Eric. Shyla don't talk like me. We're all our own individuals, right? We have our own train of thoughts and how we speak. Now, what I do try to teach my people is when this portion of the script, this is why we're saying it. Everything that we're doing is by design.
Yep.
So the point that I'm trying to get across is X, Y, Z.
Yep.
And in order to do that, I need to set up A, B, C.
Yep.
So if you can set it up in your verbiage, perfect. But this is what you're trying to get across. This is the train of thought that we're trying to get those juices flowing for the seller. And that's how we're going to move this forward. But as long as you stay on the sales process, not necessarily the script, everything's going to be fine.
Yeah. So I've done that recently where I've been rewriting my script. I usually update my scripts like every 6 months or something, just like for the community, like people that buy my stuff or get our scripts for free too.
That's awesome.
And I just want to make sure it's dialed in. And that's something I just started implementing, was like a little objective for each part of the process. I'm like, here's our objective for the intro. Here's our objective for the discovery. Here's our objective for the pitch.
Important.
So then you read the objective and you're like, oh, okay, now I understand why I'm asking these questions or why I'm steering the conversation this way.
Absolutely. That's the most important thing, because, I mean, excuse me, most people will just read a script and just go through the motions, go through it, and they might, get lucky, step on their dick and make a deal. Or you can do it the right way if you understand what you're trying to achieve and maximize on that deal. So for me, that is huge, actually setting those objectives of what you're trying to get across, so that people understand. The best salespeople always understand their product knowledge, how they can help the client or customer, and what they're going to try and do and how they're going to do it. So if you have those three understandings, then you're going to be able to just completely kill it. Now, for me, in my logic-based sales process, when we're going through like our, it's obviously an intro, rapport building, fact find for us. And then once we get to the price anchor and negotiation, so if I did everything leading up to that anchor, that shouldn't be a problem. Right. And I'm going to have the seller anchor themselves. So I'm going to ask them, hey, Mr. Montebello, what were you thinking about getting for the property? And you're going to say, somewhere around $300,000, because that's ARV. And I'm going to say, $300,000. I'm going to make it awkward. And I'm going to say, hey, let me ask you a question, Tony. How'd you come up with that number?
Yeah, like just by that pause. Zestimate.
Yeah, so just that pause, though, that awkward, $300,000. In your mind, as a seller, as just a, fucking Tom, Dick, and Harry, you're going to be like, oh, what's wrong with $300,000?
Yeah, what is this guy? Right? This guy knows something I don't?
Yeah, it creates FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. It's
Yep.
self-doubt.
Yeah.
So then I come back and you're like, oh, I saw it on adjustment. Okay, cool. Well, yeah, there's a house around the corner right here and on Holly Street. I don't know if you're familiar with it. Oh, yeah, I used to walk my dog around there. Okay, cool. Did you ever walk inside of it? No, I didn't. Well, I have it up right now, and it did sell for $299 2 months ago, and it looks like they completely redid it. They did all double pane windows with a black modern trim. They put a new roof on it. They painted it bright white. They put a new pool. They did all the finishes. The kitchen is immaculate. New
Stand-up
countertops.
showers.
Fucking to the nines, bro. Like
flooring.
Queer eye for the straight guy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then I'm going to say, Tony, they looks like they did everything that I asked you if you had done to your house, and you said no. They actually did that.
Yeah.
So in order for me to get $300,000 for this property, I'd have to put in all the money, time, and effort, sweat equity to get it to that level. Mm-hmm. So considering I'm going to come in, pay all cash, buy it as is, close in 10 to 14 business days, realistically speaking, so it's how you say, not what you say. Mm-hmm. Realistically speaking, what are you willing to take? So now it's not what were you looking to get for the property? Because looking to get is like optimistic. I'm looking to get this much, right? Now it's like, hey, pump the brakes, motherfucker.
What are you willing to take?
Right? You didn't do this shit. Mm-hmm. You didn't do any of that shit to deserve to command $300,000. So now, considering that you didn't do any of that, realistically speaking, what are you willing to take? I picture a guy hanging from a cliff. Like, now I'm hanging. This is what I'm willing to take. I'm willing to take a fucking rope or a Twizzler if you can give me something to hold on to. So then at that point, they typically will drop about 50 grand, 40 grand, 20 grand, sometimes.
And then they're anchoring themselves.
And then, they anchor themselves. So now let's say you anchored yourself to 260.
Yep.
Okay, cool, Tony. Now, if we were to list that on the open market, typically closing costs, realtor fees, etc., you know how that goes. It's about 10%. It's actually 11, but we'll use 10 for easy math. So that would be about $26,000, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So if we were to take $26,000 from that, that'd put you somewhere around
234.
234. Yep, 234. Okay. Now, Tony, if I was able to come to 234, is that something we'll be able to move forward with right now? And I'm going to trial close. So then at that point, so you see that? We went from 300,000 to 234, and I haven't even gave you my number yet.
Right.
But it's logic.
Right.
If it don't make sense, it don't make dollars.
Right.
Okay. So now, logically, you price anchored yourself. I just kind of put it in front of you, and I made it seem like it's your idea. It brings me to when I was in the Army, you know what motivation is? To motivate somebody is to make somebody want to do something without feeling like you're making them want to. And that's what I call it. Like, that was the whole thing. Like, I felt like I was a really great leader, leading troops, leading salespeople after my Army career. And it was because I would just kind of like when you have a marble and you just kind of carve the sand and it just follows. That's what we're doing as salespeople. That's what we should be doing.
Yeah.
So by
it's such a dance, right?
It is. It's a dance.
It's beautiful.
It's a song and dance, man. It's a song and dance. I stand up, I walk around, I talk. I smile on the phone. I talk like this on my hands while I'm on the phone, like you're sitting right in front of me. Yes. I'm this animated on the phone.
And if somebody's around me, I'm giving weird looks to them, and I'm like,
oh man,
I'm all over the place.
Cooking in this
I'm all over the place.
Yeah. So I price dropped you from 300 to 234. Now when I said, hey, if I can get you to 234, close 10 business days less, give you all the pros, none of the cons of wholesaling, and then say, is that something you'd be able to move forward with today? So now there's a line in the sand. Over here, you're a shopper. When I ask you that question and you say, if you can do that, I'll sign today. Now I've moved you to the buyer. Now it's like, okay, mentally, Tony's decided, I'm selling my fucking house. I'm selling it today to this guy. We just got to figure out the
iron it out,
logistics of it. So then at that point, I'm going to put you on a quick hold, and I'm going to come back, right? And some people say my underwriter, my partner, my financial partner, it doesn't matter who the fuck it is.
No.
It's a higher power, right?
It's a higher power.
It's me and you versus this guy, right? So then I come back and I say, hey, great news, Tony. Look, first of all, are you sitting down, bro? I need you to be sitting down. You're going to want to sit down for this, okay? Check this out. We want to buy that property. If it's all the criteria that what we're looking for, considering that we're going to come in, give it a facelift, close in 10 to 14 business days, come in all cash. You won't have to lift a finger. You can take everything you want, leave all the shit you don't want, blah, 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 blah. All the pros, right? Build it up, build it up. I'm going to be at 150,000. All I need is your email address and I could get the ball rolling. And then I just shut the fuck up. Right. And at that point, that's the true anchor. That's 50% ARV. But we'll negotiate back and forth and we'll end up somewhere around 180. This happens all the time. Like I do this all the time. Doesn't matter what the ARV is. It's always the same. We end up buying around 50 to 60% every single time. And it's beautiful because here in Phoenix, you can sell at 75%, sometimes 80%.
Yeah, if it's in a good area.
Yeah. Shouts out to Danny and Kurt.
Love Danny and Kurt.
Yeah, those are my boys. Those are my boys.
Yeah.
They help me out. They help me out on good deals. I help them out on some deals. You know what I'm saying? So it works out good. But I say that to say this. By using my logic base sales process and anchoring like tactics, instead of starting at 300,000 and I'm shooting you halfway,
you're inching them down.
Yeah, you're already at 234. So if I could draw a graph, here's a line, 300,000. There's a line down here. Here's 0. Here's 150. Here's 234. So I have less travel of negotiation,
of course,
instead of all the way to the top at 300.
Yeah.
So by doing that, it just seems like they're winning better.
Yeah.
I feel like, man, and here's the deal, man. It doesn't matter if you're buying cars, houses.
It's all the same.
It's all the same.
Yeah.
Negotiation. If Tony's like, yo, how much is that watch? And I'm like, hey, man, I'll sell it to you for 20 racks. No, you could do better than that.
Come on, dude. I'll give you a 10 today.
Right, I'll give you 10. Oh, all right, 15. Like, I'll sell it to him right now for 15 grand. But I know no matter what, you're not going to think like, that the first deal is not going to be the best deal,
right? Of course.
So I always say this: a good deal is when value exceeds price, right?
Yeah.
So like,
for sure.
Johnny Dang bust down this watch. It's a $25,000 watch.
Yeah.
So if I'm like anyone in the market, I always do this, and when I'm speaking to a big crowd, I'm trying to show them what a good deal is. Whether I'm wearing a gold AP or this or whatever, I'll take it off and I'll say, hey, anyone in the market for a $50,000 watch, and nobody will raise their hand. I'll say, all right, cool. Anyone in the market for $50,000 watch, if I sold it to you right now for 10 grand, all these hands go up. Because in their mind, they're like, dude, worst case scenario, I can sell for 15K, 20K, and still make my money.
Yeah.
So a good deal is when value exceeds price. Yeah. Now, if you build up enough value, the price is kind of irrelevant to a certain extent. I know like a lot of these gurus teach
especially when we talk about wholesaling
for
too,
sure.
Because a seller... price isn't their biggest concern.
It's not.
They got a bunch of shit going on where they need this fucking money quick.
Yep.
And price is a concern, but it's a little further down the line. Timing's a concern. Ease is a concern. The process to get like the as is, no
convenience.
Just convenience. Yeah, all that.
Yeah. I've had people that are like, "Oh, I'm only taking 300. If you don't got 300, don't fucking call me back." They sign fucking 3 days later at fucking 200.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Like, so it's all setting it up correctly. But I think that's one thing in my sales process that has helped us huge.
Yeah.
Another thing that salespeople that will shape a good salesperson, will fill up your pipeline, will fill up your bottom line as a sales guy, is having a good follow-up process.
Oh, 100%.
Follow-up. Dude, 40% of your monthly deals come from follow-up. You just
people
can't
screw
escape
that
it.
up.
People are like, oh, I want the new leads. But like we have a process. It's called a 3-2-1 process. We started it when I learned it when I was in the car business, kind of tweaked it, and then brought it to real estate. 9 a.m. sales guy comes in, checks in Podio, sees the leads, doesn't fucking read all the information, start running comps, just fucking call the motherfucker.
Start calling.
Just call.
Yeah.
You never know. You might waste 10 minutes and then the guy don't even answer. Yeah. Right? So he just picks up the phone, starts calling. Don't answer. Let it ring. Hang up. Call again. Don't answer. Let it ring. Call 3 times. They don't answer. All right, cool. Just don't send them a text message. Don't send them an email.
Nope.
Come noon, do the same thing. You're calling somebody 9 times in a day.
Yeah.
You do call them 3 times again at noon. If they answer and they're pissed off, like, think about it. If I call you and you don't have my number saved, it's hard to use this example with guys like us because we think someone's calling me, it's money.
Yeah,
right?
I answer everything.
To the normal person, they're not going to answer the phone if they don't have you saved.
Sure.
And especially like nowadays, with these soft ass people, they want a text message.
Yeah.
They want a text message. So if I call 3 times and nobody answers, or if I call once, they're not going to answer. If they call twice, I'm going to be like, oh, who's calling me? I'm going to hang up. If
Maybe
they call 3 times, I'm like, man, are my kids sick? What's going on? They might answer. Unless they're really at work or really busy, they're not going to answer. Now, come the second wave, by the third call, they don't answer, I'm going to send them a voice message. Now, voice messages are crucial. Mm-hmm. Now, most people leave a voice message like this. Hey, Tony, my name is Tino from America's Home Buyers. I was calling you because I was interested in your property on 123 Main Street. Give me a call back at 480-322. I want to buy your property. Hope to hear from you soon. Click. Now what? Like if you call them back, you look like a stage 5 clinger, right? Yeah. So the way I picture this is like playing tennis. There's if we're playing solos, right? You're on one side, I'm on one side. How many balls typically on a court? One, right? So if I'm hitting this voicemail to you, now I have to wait for it
to come back.
Now I have to wait. Now I changed the game and I brought two balls to the court. No pun intended. I have 2 balls, right? So I got
really be 4 balls, 5 balls on the court.
Yeah, or 6 as I said. So I say, hey Tony, this is Tino. I'm interested in buying your property over at 123 Main Street. My number is 480 I want to put as much money in your pocket as possible. I'm gonna give you a call back later on today, but if you free up before then, give me a call at or shoot me a text. Even if you're not interested, a little bit of communication goes a long way.
Yep.
Hang up the phone.
Love it.
And I send the same thing in a voice to text. Same thing. So I'm letting you know, hey, motherfucker, I'm going to call you back.
I'm going to call you again. You might as well text or call me.
Yeah.
Because you're going to get a call.
Let's let the farts out of the blanket now. Yeah. If you don't want me to call you anymore, just tell me.
Text or call me.
Fuck off. I'm not interested.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Now I know you're not interested.
Now it's done.
Yep. Now it's done. Okay. Then we'll just put you in the queue for 2 weeks from now.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah. And it's like, all the follow-up shit too. Yeah. It's like when somebody calls and says, hey, just following up with you. It's like,
it's like, oh my God.
Following up with me because you want to fucking take something from me or you want to sell me something. Yeah, it's like, no. Hey, just had some time free up. I had 5 minutes. Figured I'd give you a call and check in.
You know who the best people are? It's like jewelry people, watch people, they call you. I'm really good friends with my fucking watch guy out of Texas. Shouts out to Victor Berry with Caliber, Grand Caliber. Those guys like he'll call me or shoot me a text. Hey, big dog, hope all is well, blah blah blah. Check this out. This just landed on my lap. Let me know if you're interested or you got anybody. Bro, he sends me like a $300,000 watch. I'm like, dude, I'm not in the market for that, but I'll post it for you. Yeah. You know?
No, dude, it's funny because I do it in reverse for my watch lady Regina out in La Jolla. Yeah. Where it's like, some Rolexes are still hard to get, and it's like,
Rolexes are hard.
Dude, I got the all gold GMT
I
last
saw that
year
with the black and gray.
Yeah, dude, with in 2 months, dude. That's She's crazy. Like, oh, it's a year wait, blah blah blah. But this is somebody. I send her flowers on Valentine's Day. I call her on her birthday.
You're playing the game.
I'm playing the game because then when a watch comes out, I want that 1,000 people are on a wait list.
And they're like, do you have anybody that might deserve this?
Yeah.
She's like, I got somebody.
I got somebody who will buy right now, you know? And so you got to play it both ways. And I do that shit all the time with people. And it's just checking in with them, dude. I'll send a video on Instagram to my best clients. I'm like, hey, dude, I just appreciate you. And I do it when they pop in my head. It's not even scheduled for me. I literally, somebody will pop in my head, and I take that moment, and I just fucking send a quick video. I'm like, hey, I just appreciate you.
That's how you know
You're
it's
killing
genuine.
It is genuine. It's not on a schedule. They see you, sending the same thing every fucking Wednesday at 3:00. It's like, oh, this motherfucker, I'm in this dude's CRM. Yeah. And he's getting a reminder.
Every Christmas, I'll get the same fucking text message. Yeah. And I'm like, dude, you forgot to take out the press stop for opt out. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, dude, come on, bro. Like, the only time you text me is on Christmas. Yeah. Like, I see it like this year, last year, the year before. Mm-hmm. Give me out your CRM,
Yeah.
But relationships are huge. And it doesn't matter what industry or business you're in or even just on a personal level, not with a quid pro quo situation, but in a real setting. Relationships are important.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are some tactics that I think every salesperson needs to have. Doesn't matter if it's your guys' script, my script, anyone's script. It doesn't fucking matter. As long as you're following it the right way, you have the end plan section by section in mind, and you're following it. You have the sales process you're following, and then you have a good follow-up process. You cannot fail.
Yeah,
you cannot
I
fail.
agree.
Obviously, you got to know how to run your numbers correctly. That way you're not sending this guy shit deals.
Shit deals. Woo! Yeah.
Aren't those the best?
Yeah, there's a lot of bad deals out there. Just run your numbers right. It's so frustrating.
And wholesalers, don't be so emotional about these deals.
No.
Yeah, of course you're trying to help people, but if you do it right the first time, you don't got to do it the second time, and you don't got to piss people off, and you do it right, and you have those hard conversations. Don't just lay down and be an order taker, because then he's going to tell you, hey, no, we got to be here.
Yeah.
And then you got to go back.
Anyway.
Yeah, it's not a deal anyway.
Well, what the fuck you getting a contract?
You know what you're doing? You're fucking stroking Weekend at Bernie's. You're stroking a dead man. Like you're not, nothing's going to come of it.
You're jerking off into a ceiling fan.
Yeah,
That's
dude.
not going to be beneficial for anybody.
Right.
But yeah, I think too, like with the sales process, like, you know, we all have this pretty much generic process that we dial into our own, right? Me and you are very logical in our sales process. If you see me on the phone on my reels, dude, I'm just very cool, calm, and collected, and I just give the facts. You know, other people are real boisterous and have different tactics. So it's kind of the blueprint is there. Whether whoever's script or process you go by, it's really putting your own personality behind it and not trying to replicate somebody. For sure. You know, it's like people will comment a lot, and I get very little hate on Instagram, but sometimes people will be like, oh, you're so boring on the phone. And then other people, but like the mass majority is like, dude, you're so calm on the phone. It's so good. I wish I could be like that.
It's perception.
Yeah.
It's perception.
And if somebody's saying like, damn, I wish I could be that calm on the phone, it's like, well, take a little bit from me. Take a little bit from Eric. Take a little bit from Tino. But be yourself.
Be yourself at the end of the day.
I can't be Tino. I can't be Eric on the phone. Like I can be Tony. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's like I think.
And all you got to do is be the best Tony.
Be the best you can be. Yeah.
Yep.
So it's like I think people see all these, successful people in sales on Instagram and influencers and stuff, or their coaches, and they're like, fuck, I can never be like that. It's like, good. You shouldn't be like that.
Shouldn't be.
It's a structure you got to stick by, and you put your own personality.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. Like it is true. Like I've seen people, post content that are just coming up, and they'll try to be like such and such, and it's so obvious. It's like, dude, calm down. Like just do you. Yeah. Just follow that process, but do it.
And shut the fuck up when you're talking to a seller, and not just when you give an offer, but people get so worked up and they don't even listen to what a seller is saying.
They're telling you how to close them. They're telling you what
they're going to navigate the close. Right. Just shut the fuck up. Yeah. Listen, actively listen, write shit down so you can bring it up again when they say somebody's name and their family. Write it down. Oh, yeah, just like John said last year. I mean, you got to let them talk. They're going to ultimately close themselves most of the time.
Absolutely. They're going to tell you things that later on are going to work to your benefit. Like my brother was closing we call it a 2-car deal. Everything is like cars to us still to say, oh, I got a 2-car deal. It's 2 properties next to each other. And
I do everything by dirt bikes. Like if me and Eric, like, dude, we've been doing this for years, but it's like if there's like $30K in a deal or something, I'm like, dude, that's like 10 used 1997 fucking YZ 250. Like I just like make everything about dirt bikes. That's funny. You guys do it with cars.
We do with cars. Yeah, we got a 2-car deal, fucking 2 Civics. Just like, and he's like, yeah, I talked to the wife was great. Finally got in touch with the husband, and he was like, oh, and my brother was like, yo, I know on Sunday you guys are heading back east, so I wanted to make sure that we handle this. He's like, oh, you know about that? He's like, yeah, I told your wife you guys are doing this for a wedding, and oh man, okay, so yeah, you guys did have a good conversation, and just little things like that lets them know, okay, well, if my wife trusts this fucking guy enough to tell him about my son getting married and this and that, and how we have 2 dogs, and how we love going, back east in the fall, we love Central Park in the fall, then of course I'm gonna be more inclined to open up to this guy and trust him. So it's all building rapport, and building rapport is not something you do just right now. It's throughout the whole conversation.
Yeah, and the follow-ups and everything.
Right,
yep.
right. Don't ask about, how's the weather out there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't be boring.
Yeah. How's the weather out there? Like that, and that's why, like, one thing that I do like is that what I've noticed is younger guys have a hard time navigating with sellers just because they don't have a lot of life experience.
Yeah,
they don't know how to read the room good. You know, so you do find the young guys that are just naturally gifted and talented, but I feel like it's harder to kind of mold those guys. I need like 23, 25-year-old guys that fucking have a baby on the way.
Yeah,
that are fucking
they got something to work
chargers.
for.
Yeah, they need to fucking make it happen by any means. You know that those are the guys that typically know how to talk to granny and grandpa,
and they're the most fun to coach
and
have on the team.
For
right?
sure.
Cool, man. Well, dude, I appreciate you coming in. This is fun as shit. We'll wrap it up. First, let's give the people all. I mean, I guess it's just your Instagram handle.
Yeah, my Instagram handle's pretty easy. It's FTH. F as in Faustino, Tino as T as in Tino, and H as in Hernandez, or F as in fuck, T as in the, and H is the haters.
Haters, yeah. And you're getting a YouTube channel rolling.
Yeah, I'm gonna get started
with your first podcast.
I have a YouTube channel that I only post, like, it's mainly just lifestyle stuff. So like me traveling to an event, or I'm going to hang out with some friends on a yacht for the weekend or something like that. So it's just all like behind the scenes stuff that I don't really post, which is cool. Yeah. But I want to start a podcast as well.
You're going to start a podcast.
Today. You're my first guest, because I need to do more of this. I need to give back. A lot of people don't know me, man. Seriously, my trainer, met him through Instagram. Great gym. Shouts out to Henry over at Fitness Junkies in Avondale. Fucking badass gym.
Hell yeah, I gotta come
roll
there.
up. Fucking, the doors roll up. It's fucking hardcore.
Dude, I'll come train there one weekend.
It's like Ronnie Coleman, like old school days.
That's how I grew
working
up.
out in Iraq. Just fucking chains, just hardcore.
Dude,
shit.
The gym I grew up in was just like that. If you didn't re-rack your weights, they'd fucking kick you out.
Yeah,
just fucking bad motherfuckers.
Big
like
fucking
huge
giants.
Dudes, just fucking everybody lifting heavy. Yep. No cardio equipment. We're in here to get big. Like, we ain't in here to lose weight.
But I met everybody on Instagram, and I forgot where I was going. Oh yeah, so most people don't judge me off my Instagram. A lot of people just go to my Instagram and think I'm like this douchebag.
Yeah,
straight off the rip. They're like, "Who's this fucking douche guy wearing sunglasses inside? Who's this guy posting jewelry and cars?" But like, once they get to know me, like, man, you're actually really cool.
Yeah, like, dude, down to earth as shit. Got a lot to give, a lot of value, dude. I don't know anybody that doesn't like you.
Hey. Let's keep it that way. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, guys. Well, thanks, Tino. And for Tino and myself, we'll see you guys at the top.
See you at the top.
Hell yeah. What's up, guys? Thanks for watching my video. If you'd like to watch more videos, my playlist is right here. And if you'd like to subscribe, click down here. I'll see you guys at the top.